All right, don't be a pussy. Blow your brains out tonight with Rick E. Warden, Dave Jarvis, and the one and only Lou Morris bringing it hard tonight.
Woo!
Welcome, everyone.
Good evening. Wednesday evening is always my favorite evening. How have y'all been for the last week? How did y'all survive the great freeze of 2023?
Oh, hell, I just stayed in and got work done. Didn't really change my life much right now. I'm just constantly working on something. So,
God bless you, sir. How about you, Ricky?
Graphics. I did graphics last week, and same with Lou. I always stay busy, man.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Now, Lou, you're in Royce City. Am I correct?
No, I'm over in Louisville. I'm from Royce City, but I'm over in Louisville now. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah. Graduated Royce City, so I got out of there as soon as I could.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Do you know Randy Roy?
Randy, yeah, from Raid.
Yeah, he's a Royce City kid, I think.
Yeah. Funny story. I was actually the first singer of Raid, but I couldn't give him enough time, so I left, and Randy was actually the one that came in after me. So.
Wow, how about that? Breaking news right here. Blow your brains out, everybody.
Yeah, there's a couple pictures on my Facebook with those guys. My old drummer from Coilback, when I first came back, he joined those guys, and he asked me to come and sing with them, but then I just didn't have the time with all my projects.
Yeah.
I was going to say, with a metalhead of your magnitude, it's crazy that you came from a place like Royce City, of all places.
Oh, I was the black sheep there. Like, everybody else is playing Garth Brooks. I come in rolling, playing White Zombie and all that stuff. So, oh yeah, they were ready to like send me out with pitchforks and torches. So,
y'all were the house that they told to avoid on Halloween.
Oh, pretty much, yeah.
Even though y'all probably had the best decorations.
Oh yeah, I went all out. I mean, here I am now evolving, and I'm working on horror movies and stuff. So I mean, I guess it kind of worked out for me. But yeah, I went all out, and I would decorate the whole place and have big freaking. It was like a mini haunted house over there.
That's freaking awesome. And do you do the same with your Louisville house?
I haven't had a chance. I've only been here like a few months. I haven't had an October that I've had time. It's like I've been still trying to move in and get everything set up. So next Halloween, probably. I'm willing to bet it's going to be interesting.
Now, are you getting acclimated to the Louisville environment?
Somewhat. I mean, I've lived here before, but mostly in apartments. Like I've been kind of off and on coming back to Louisville since about 2010, 2011-ish. But I'd move there, then move somewhere else, and move back to Louisville and move somewhere else. And I don't know. I just keep coming back here. So I guess this is where I'm supposed to be.
Have you noticed any kind of like aesthetic change over the 12, 13 years since you first moved there to now?
Besides like the traffic and people running into my car while it's parked or my truck while it's parked.
I hope you have full coverage.
Yeah, it does, but it ain't worth enough for the deductible. I mean, some dude slid into my truck during the ice thing, and of course he took off before we got a chance to get out there.
Bastardos.
Yeah.
That's awful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Well, everything else is going well in your life, in the life of Lou Morris from Coilback and Lovesick Drug?
Somewhat. I'm just constantly busy. I got 3 movies I'm trying to work on stuff for. We're finishing up the Lovesick Drug album. It's done. It's in the can. We just got to get the CD stuff and photo shoot for the cover and all that crap. And then Coilback, we got a new bass player coming in, so we'll start hitting the live shows again with that pretty soon.
Dude, you are a busy man, and from what I can tell from your rap sheet, you've always been a busy man. Like, have you always just gravitated towards the next thing?
The what thing?
The next thing, like already you're halfway through, and already you want to move on to something else.
I tend to have a lot of sticks in the fire. What do you want to say? There, it's like it's kind of one of those things that. I stay busy. I like to work on several projects at once.
Iron jaw in the fire.
Yeah, there you go. Lots of irons in the fire. So yeah, I like doing a lot of creative stuff. So the more that I can do it, especially if people are going to pay me for it, then hell yeah. But like, I just enjoy it. I like doing the music part, but I like doing the movie part. So it's kind of fun being able to do both.
Nice. Now what kind of role do you have in these movies?
A little bit of everything. I joke about my goal is to be kind of like Tom Savini because I do special effects and stuff, but I also like being on camera. It's kind of fun.
That's a great hero to have.
Oh yeah, love Tom. he get a little grouchy in person, but he's cool overall. But yeah, it's I like doing the special effects. Like the 2 horror movies that I've got that I'm currently working on, Dr. Gift and Chick Chick Boom. Both of those I'm doing special effects for. Dr. Gift has Danielle Harris in it. I was the production designer for that, and I do a little cameo.
No shit. Are you kidding me? Danielle Harris? Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, if anybody out there doesn't know, Danielle Harris, she was my first crush from Roseanne.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, she was a real pro. She was actually really easygoing. We were all kind of worried she'd be kind of, Hollywood on us, but nah, she was great.
Yeah, right. Rob Zombie did it this way, so y'all need to.
Yeah. Oh, the director was nervous as hell. He was like, "Okay, we got to make sure we put our best foot forward. We don't want to blow this and make her think we're idiots and stuff, or let her realize that we're idiots." But yeah, no, she was great. She was up for whatever we wanted to do, and her role is amazing in it. We were going to give her a smaller role, thinking she wouldn't want to do much, and she ended up picking this other role in the movie that's amazing. I'll give you a little hint. She kills a girl with a guitar, so it's cool as shit.
Awesome.
It comes out this year, actually. So
that's rock and roll. That shit.
I've always wanted to kill someone with my cock in a movie, so that's like killing someone with the guitar. That'd be the next best thing.
I think there's websites you can do that these days, so I think you'll be all right.
Hey, what is her name again, so I can look her up?
Danielle Harris.
Daniel, like the man Daniel, then add another L-E. Harris.
Yeah, she started off at like 10 years old in the Halloween movies, so she's been doing it a long time.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember when Michael Myers had that straight white face that had no character like the first movie. So it was kind of disappointing, even for a 7-year-old me.
Oh, as they went through the sequels, like in the old series, yeah, it kind of went downhill. They were starting to become a money grab after a little while.
I agree. However, the one with Josh Hartnett, I like that one.
Which one was it? Was that wasn't Resurrection, was it?
It was either Resurrection or H2O, the one with LL Cool J.
Yeah, H2O wasn't bad. I caught that one in the theater when it came out, like in a sneak preview. It wasn't bad. It was kind of cool to see the cameo with Jamie Lee Curtis's mom in there.
Yeah, Janet Leigh. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yep, that's her.
Very nice.
That chick is hot. So I know you've been working on some soundtrack stuff. Are you working on all 3 soundtracks as well?
We do have stuff on soundtracks. The Dr. Gift one, the new single we just put out for Love Sick Drug, Gonna Be Mine. We actually had a little promo thing for that. That's going to be on the soundtrack for the Danielle Harris movie, Dr. Gift. And then Chick Chick Boom, we've got one. Not really sure which one we're putting on that one yet. And then it's one of those that the one I've been working on is called Tonic. That Billy Blair, the guy that's in my band that you might know from some movies too.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, a few people have heard of him.
I know him as the bartender at House of Blues. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, he's the bartender now at damn it, where is it? Holy Grail, I think it is. He still bartends there. Sometimes when he's not working on movies, he's out of town a lot now. He's acting like 3/4 of his time now. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're working on the soundtrack lately for. He stars in that one. It was filmed all in Deep Ellum, but they wanted some kind of made to order songs for it. So we've been kind of coming up with some stuff, some punk rock stuff mostly, and a blues song too.
Now, what time frame were you filming this in Deep Ellum?
Oh man, when did he film that?
August. Is this Dr. Gift?
That's the poster for the Dr. Gift film that's coming out. That should be the one that comes out this year, and it's got Danielle Harris in it.
It looks cool as shit. Fuck yeah.
Oh, it's badass, dude. It's supernatural slasher. So it's gonna have a lot of kills in there. And matter of fact, they're pretty much waiting for me to do the last filming of some kills that I got to do some effect shots for, and then they're gonna get it all together.
Every word that you just said gave me an erection. And so where can we find Dr. Gift?
It'll premiere obviously whenever it comes out. We'll do a theatrical premiere. Usually there's a cast and crew, and they invite a few people in. And I think we're talking about trying to possibly see if we could get a drive-through, just kind of go old school with it. But if not, I'm sure we'll figure out something. And then afterwards, he usually hits all the streaming platforms.
Hey,
like
Lou.
we got one that I worked on called Strix that's already on Plex and Tubi and all that stuff. That's kind of part of the same crew, same director and all that stuff. And I got a small part in that one too.
Nice. What was that called again?
Strix, STRIX.
Well, hey, I'm stuck on this here. You had said that you were writing some soundtracks for it. Can I play something for you here?
Sure, go for it. You got some scoring? Is that scoring stuff?
This is Dave Jarvis, X610 nice. Chill.
I like it. It's got kind of a creepy, haunting feel to it.
Very, but it's like a comforting haunt.
Yeah, you can sleep to it, but you can still have nightmares.
It keeps doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like it.
It doesn't really stay the same. The only thing that stays the same is kind of that vibe, but then he adds, like, it continues to build and just add. It's Dave Jarvis, our host here, Dave Jarvis. Yeah. That's his band, X610 Chill.
That's badass. Yeah, I like it. It's got some good sound bed stuff. Yeah, it's good for scoring. The stuff we're doing is more song stuff. But we've done
yeah. Whoa. Scary.
Isn't that awesome?
I
apologize, Lou. Thanks for your time. I couldn't help but to throw my buddy Dave Jarvis and co-host his name into the ring there.
Ah, sounds good, dude. I like it.
Well, thank you very much. And I am definitely for sale because I am a whore. But
lift that skirt, baby.
But in the meantime, it's all about Lou Morris here tonight. So I got to ask you, how did you get into music in the first place?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Started off when I was 7, took piano lessons, but I really kind of started before that. The whole reason my dad put me in was I was already plunking away, but figuring out songs. I wasn't just randomly hitting a keyboard, and was already kind of working out songs and shit. So somebody said, hey, dude, you need to put him in music lessons. Took 7 years of piano, hated it. I mean, it was cool. I got to learn some stuff, but it was so forced. I think I've always been a guitar player. And he died whenever I was 13.
How old were you? How old were you when you started playing piano?
7 when I was piano. And then after my dad died when I was 13, I went to guitar and started teaching myself. So I started guitar right around 13, 14. So been doing that, but been songwriting the whole time. I've always been more of a songwriter. I've it always helps to learn other people's stuff, to learn techniques, but I've always been kind of more about like making my own stuff.
Do you ever come back to the piano?
Matter of fact, on the soundtrack, the last song I just finished writing, like right before I got on with you guys, actually is keyboard. So sometimes I do. I'm not crazy about it. It always feels very forced to me, where guitar feels very natural, but I can do it. I know my way around it. I'm just not crazy about it.
That's good. And with how obsessive compulsive you appear to be, I would guess that you feel the same way about your tone, because you have an excellent tone to your guitar.
Oh, God. Oh yeah, I'm always sticking around with that. It's like always seeking out, it's like I can make it a little bit better,
Like what kind of
heavy, man? Good, loud, crunchy tone you got.
What kind of amps do you use?
Mainly EVH. It's one of those. I have an EVH Stealth. That's my main number one. I've got an iconic. I used to have all the 5150s, but I found all the old ones I really wasn't really using much, and they went up so high in value. I figured, get the money for them instead of let them collect dust, let somebody else enjoy them. But I have used, like on the Lovesick Drug album, I've used everything. I had a Diesel for a little while. I had a Boss Katana, and God, what was the other amp I used? There's something else I used on there. So, but mostly it's the EVH, the 5150 Stealth 100 watt.
Nice. And what kind of guitars do you prefer?
Main number ones are my Music Mans. I got Music Man Axis. I mean, obviously I'm a big EVH fan. I even got the tattoo and stuff here, but like, it's one of those, I play a bunch of different styles, but the Music Mans are just amazing. They're not Sterling. They're actually real Music Mans. I've got a few EVHs, and then I've got some Purpose stuff. I've got an Ibanez Jiva, the Nita Strauss signature one. It's actually one she played that I got from her. But mostly Ibanez past that, and BC Rich Mockingbirds. I love Mockingbirds.
Mockingbirds are good. Is Billy as obsessed about gear as you are?
He's obsessed, but he doesn't quite go after it like I do. He's got, like, just recently he finally got himself a real quote unquote Les Paul that he's been wanting forever. And so he's happy with that. And he's playing through a Gensbins now. So he's starting to kind of upgrade his gear. He doesn't play around with it as much as I do. I'm real anal about my tone. Like I constantly am trying to find a slightly better way to do each thing. So yeah, he's more just rock out. Just plug it in and turn it up.
Now, do you force this mentality towards them?
Not really. It's one of those things. It's like I help him out with stuff, like if he's looking for a certain sound or something. But you know, hey, if he's happy with what he sounds like, yeah, okay.
Good. Looking out for numero uno. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll help when I can, but I'm not, you know, if he likes his tone where it's at, then yeah, more power to him, I guess.
Now that our audience knows just how musically inclined you are, did you watch the Grammys this last Sunday?
No, because I'm musically inclined, so why would I watch it?
There it is. There it is. Oh,
are you excited for Ozzy or sad for Ozzy?
I mean, I'm happy that Ozzy's made it this long, because I mean, really, did any of us really expect that? I mean,
no.
So I mean, no, it's you know, it's one of those things that I think, you know, he's already cemented his legendary status. I don't think he has to have any more, you know, affirmation on anything. Ozzy's Ozzy. You say Ozzy, everybody knows exactly who you're talking about. It's not Ozzy who. So
it's just crazy that he won for Best Metal Performance and Best Rock Album.
Like I said, if you like music, watching the Grammys is a pointless endeavor at this point. There's just no reason. It's all about image. I think they did that half partially just because they're like, oh, I guess we should get around to it before he keels over. So
even though they've already given him multiple Grammys before.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he cemented his status. He doesn't need anything else. But I mean, it's cool if you get something. I mean, you know, it's always nice to get approval, but I don't think he lives for it. I think he's just kind of like, cool, throw it on the shelf with everything else.
That's right. He don't want to stop.
Yeah, he has to stop now. Unfortunately, it sucks. But I mean, I think he said he's still going to try to do a few live shows, but it does suck that he had to stop touring.
Yeah,
but I get it.
What really wigged me out.
He wants to do the Super Bowl halftime show.
Fuck, he should.
Yeah, alongside Rihanna. That'll be great.
Oh, that would be amazing. Then we're going to get a lot of posts where everybody's going to say it's a good thing Rihanna's going to make this guy popular.
Yeah, right. What wigged me out was the fact that Muse was nominated for Best Metal Performance. I'm like, fucking Muse?
I know.
Those Prince wannabes?
Yeah, well, like I said, I get it. It's one of those. It's the grand. I mean, it's just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. How many things are like nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that aren't even rock and roll? It's like, why bother even calling it that? I don't get it.
Agree. It's like an all-encompassing thing, even though rock is, well, you know, dead in the eyes of mainstream media anyway.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's whatever. Let them go, you know, wank themselves off with all the awards and stuff. It's just like, as long as people are listening to the stuff, that's all I care about.
Damn it. Hopefully Muse was nominated for their song We're Fucked.
No,
yeah,
but I know
on their latest record. It's called We're Fucked.
I know that Spoon was nominated for Best Rock Album, and I'm okay with Spoon.
I don't know if I call it. Well, I don't even know what to call rock anymore, honestly. Besides, like, if it ain't old school, it's like there's hardly any new bands out there that's hard that you can legitimately call rock. There's a few, but it's, I don't know. As I said, I just don't even pay attention. I'd just be more pissed off watching the whole damn thing anymore. So what's the point? Why do I want to make myself angry? I got better stuff to do with my time.
Now, when you say rock is not the same, do you mean all rock or metal in particular, or just all rock in general?
I think just what people call rock. To me, and this is, if people ask me always, like, you know, rock and metal and stuff, to me, rock has always been sort of blues sort of based, and it kind of comes from those roots and stuff, where metal's kind of classical based almost, like in a musician sense. And I mean, there's always a little bleed over and stuff. There's a few bands. I mean, I remember back when Motley Crue was called heavy metal, and now everybody's like, well, it's hair metal or rock now. So it constantly changes. I get that part. But to me, it's just one of those, I'm not really caught up in labels that hardcore. I try to differentiate when I can, but if it's good music, it's good music. I listen to a little bit of everything. I mean, if it's one of those things, you know, if it's crap, it's crap. If it's good, it's good. I don't care what you want to call it, as long as I can find it and play it. That's all I give a shit about.
And that's what a real musician would say. Thank you very much, Lou Moore.
But still, there's that thing called category, and you have to deal with it.
I know. As far as I'm concerned, they can categorize me however they want to. Like I said, as long as somebody's listening, that's all I care about. If you
what do you call your music?
Coilback.
What do you call coilback music?
Oh, coilback. Kind of Cats in Heat meet Screechy Tires, sort of.
Perfect. He didn't say rock or metal, Dave Jarvis.
Yeah,
I know. yeah, it's funny because
like
y'all came out in 2000, so you were what, like 24, 25 at the time?
Oh man, you want me to do math? 25.
Okay, 25. There you go. So what inspired that lineup to create Coilback, which, as far as everybody else knows, is still alive and kicking?
Yes. We are alive and kicking. We're on life support, but we're kicking. Basically,
kicking with a new bass player.
Yeah, we'll be kicking with a new bass player very, very soon. Basically, it kind of started off as I was with another band called Liquor Goat. I didn't name that one, so don't blame that one on me. Met a guy that came in as a singer. They weren't very good. I was better than their guitar player, their lead guitar player, which is never good if your singer's better than your lead guitar player. So it was really bad, but I was limping it along. And then when that guitar player finally showed how much of a douche he was and left, we decided to form something different. And I wanted a name that we could play whatever we wanted. You know, it's like I didn't want something where it sounded like we were a death metal band or sounded like this kind of metal or whatever. And so, yeah, it was one of those that we basically came up with that. I took over the main guitar duties and the songwriting and wrote the bulk of the riffs and wrote all the lyrics, but the bulk of the riffs too. And that's kind of how it all started. And it's always been kind of one of those things where it's like, I let anybody contribute that wants to contribute, but it just tends to lean towards me writing most of it. So it's not, I don't really call it a solo project because I always want everybody to contribute, but it's definitely, I write a good portion of it.
Is it more blues based or is it more classical based?
Coilback tends to be more classical based, but before I joined Love Sick Drug, because I didn't really have an outlet for my rock riffs, I did tend to do a lot of the rock riffs with Coilback too. So I would say some of those would be, like, to give you an idea, like if we covered Mama Ken once, that would be blues based, but we also covered Metallica Four Horsemen, that's classical based. So I have songs that sound like both of those too. And
yeah, your original music does. It kind of does both.
Yeah. It was kind of like riding that line between rock and metal, but I was just like, whatever. We're just going to write good songs, and if people like them, great. If they don't, they don't. Whatever. And
we're talking about blues and classical here.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to think of one that's
so it kind of, your music kind of has both of those styles. That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, it's just hard to get Dallas on board sometimes. They seem to be very cliquey.
Yeah, it's going to be challenging to get anybody on board ever. But hey, that's part of what we're all doing here.
Yeah, and hopefully people will go out and listen to it more. I mean, that's all you can ask is like, hey, just give it a listen. I always sit there and tell people, it's like, hey, if you just take a couple seconds to listen to it, because that's what I hear all the time with this tribute band crap is, and don't get me wrong, I got lots of friends in tribute bands. Hey, great, good for them. But it's one of those, it's like, I can't count how many times people have sat there and said, oh, well, I would go to the original music, but nothing's familiar. I'm like, well, yeah, because you didn't bother to listen to it to begin with. It's like, if you take some time to actually go and listen to it, actually go and tune in to radio shows that are specializing in it, tune in to stuff like this where people are talking about it and check out the music and everything, you might actually find something you like instead of having everything spoon-fed to you all the damn time. But
did Coilback record anything between 2000 and 2003? And if so, can we find it online?
Yes, and sort of would be the answer to that. Between 2000 and 2003, we recorded our first EP. And it has different versions. 4 of the songs on the EP were re-recorded for the Love Is Dead album in 2003. There's one song called Won't Follow that didn't make the album because I wasn't crazy about it, how it came out. So we didn't re-record that one. I believe they might be on YouTube. We didn't officially release it. We just sold the CDs and then kind of said, screw it. We'd rather have the better versions on the album out there. But I think for the sake of archiving, I might have uploaded a few of them to YouTube.
Okay. Now, and the reason I say 2000, 2003, because in 2003 you started jamming with Ghoultown.
Yes.
So
yes.
what was that like as opposed to Coilback? How was the writing, or at least the playing aspect, with interacting with that group of people as opposed to your group of people?
Ghoultown's fun. I love those guys. Yeah, I met Lyle back in '99, back when the Ghoultown was kind of first starting, and was kind of like, you know, in that original group of fans. Like, I really just dug the whole feel of it. Like, just, you know, that sort of Misfits meets Johnny Cash sort of gothabilly thing they had going on. And I just really got into it, and Lyle was just a lot of fun. And so, yeah, he just offered me the opportunity because Lizard couldn't make the tour. And he's like, hey, I know you can play and sing, and that's what he does in the band. Would you like to come and do it? And I'm like, hell yeah. You know, I've always thought it would be fun to be on stage and do stuff with them. So I just kind of got incorporated into the Ghoultown family, so to speak. And it's a different style. I mean, whenever I played with them, I was on acoustic, which already is kind of its own thing. But also, it's just one of those. It was fun because we got to tour. My big one was I got to meet Shawnee Salt from White Zombie. We toured with Rock City Morgue, and I grew up, you know, like a lot of metal guys, having a crush on her when she was in White Zombie.
Fuck
so
yeah.
It's kind of fun hanging out with her and everything else. And it was just a good time. I mean, it's a good time. And then he brings me up every once in a while, kind of as a guest spot and everything whenever we do stuff. So you might see me pop on from time to time with him on stage. Like last time, I think a couple years ago, whenever Lovesick Drug and Ghoultown played together, I came up as my alternate ego there and played a song with them.
Do you have any crazy tour stories?
Oh, that I can talk about?
Yeah. Don't incriminate yourself.
There's some long ones. I mean, it's one of those. A lot of it obviously is, you know, you had to be there sort of thing. The big one that we always joke about is the Johnson City, Tennessee show that was kind of notorious because, first of all, we brought up a gigantic plaster horse that we found backstage that me and Lyle just thought would be hilarious to have on stage. We couldn't get it to stand up though. So then it was just dead on my side of the stage. And midway shoot through the show, they got kind of pissed at us that we dragged it out. And Lyle had to quickly make up a story as to why they were carting off our horse. And so he named it Stan and said, you know, Stan had drunk too much or whatever. But we got done with that show, went to the hotel, and any cliche Roach Motel thing you can think of in this place, that's where they booked all the bands for this festival. And they had the Redneck TV stand in their room with the broken TV being the stand for the good TV. We had one band that we called staying in the Mexican prison room. There was no windows or anything, and the ceiling was about, 5.5 feet tall. So you had to like kind of crouch to get in there, and there's a big hole punched through the door, so in the bathroom door. So, people could like, I guess, check you out while you're taking a crap or something. And then mine had like the portal to hell under the sink. There was an electric AC unit that apparently vented out from under the sink in the bathroom, but the sink was dripping on it and it had a short. So that was a fire hazard. And I was apparently staying in the room that was the manager's room, and it had the avocado green furniture. And I don't even think roaches would stay there, to be honest. There's that. And let's see here. I know there's a couple with junk too, but I don't know if I can really talk about those as much.
Well, can you compare Johnson City to Royce City?
I could compare them. I mean, it's Royce City is just kind of just there. Everybody looks at you and, they're kind of like the get off my lawn city, where Johnson City, I think a lot of people really have crushes on their sisters there. Let's just put it that way.
Me too.
We'll leave it at that.
Well, God bless you, and God bless their sisters.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. One of our favorite guests.
Family, she ain't good enough for yours. So,
right. Dude, one of our favorite guests to have on our show just randomly pops up is Grego.
Oh, Grego.
now, everybody has an amusing Grego story. What is yours?
Oh my God. Oh, let me try to narrow it down. Oh man. Well, I mean, him being completely toasted a couple times at shows after we got done. The great thing about Grego, and I mean, this is actually something I love about him, is he actually was eager to be in Lovesick Drug. And so it was one of those things whenever we had to replace our drummer, he called me up because I'd worked with him in Waja and stuff like that. Waja played with Coilback several times. And he's like, dude, if y'all want a drummer, I'm like, I think we already got somebody, but go ahead and learn the songs because I don't got a lot of faith in him. And sure enough, the dude flaked on us, and I called up Grego, and he was just totally excited. And I've never seen anybody just so eager to constantly just play. Like he lives for it, and he's like Animal on the drums. Like he's insane. But
he's the best.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like we love him in the band, and he's amazing, and he's a great drummer too. It ain't even just that. He is just consistent. Like the dude just nails everything. Whenever we had to retrack the drums because we recorded everything to click on the Lovesick Drug album, he came in and knocked out the entire album in a day. Just bam, 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 bam. Not even an issue.
Yeah, dude. Him and Anita are just the best people.
Oh yeah, they're a good time. They're always a good time. Like we love having him in the band, and I love working with him. And I said I always grabbed Waja anytime we had Coilback shows where I could like pick some of the lineup. I'd call him up all the time, and be like, "Dude, you want to come play this?" He's like, "Hell yeah!" So yeah, they're a ton of fun.
Now, so when you took a break with Ghoultown, how was it getting back with Coilback at like 2004?
It was pretty seamless. I mean, it was one of those things. It was like, Lyle. There was a little bit of period of time where Lyle had toyed with the notion of, because a lot of people don't know unless they were following Ghoultown around that time, is Ghoultown took a small break in 2004, and Lyle formed a band called Mal Toro, which was basically Ghoultown without the acoustic, and they added an electric. I'm not going to go into the background. That's more Lyle's story to tell on that. But it was one of those things that they had toyed with the notion of bringing me in there, and they decided, well, he's got his own thing going on and all that. So, yeah, Coilback, they were cool about it the whole time. I mean, it's one of those things that I told the guys, hey, I'm just going to go do this for a little bit and everything, but I'm not quitting Coilback. I'm just, right now I got to do this, and they were cool with it.
Did any of them go off and do their own side project?
Nah. The two guys that were at that point, we were a 3-piece, and the two guys that were there, I think the drummer would have tried to, because his ego he was a overpromise underdeliver guy. I ended up kicking his ass out. I think he would have tried, but he can never deliver on anything he promises anybody. So it was kind of one of those. It was like me, the bass player, not the greatest musician in the world. So it's one of those things that I wrote most of his bass parts too. So I don't think those guys had the ability. Now the guys that followed them after they left, those guys were really good, but I mean, I was already doing it full time by that point. So
was there any kind of resentment towards them for not getting better at their instruments?
It was annoying, especially with the bass part. And I was friends with him and I worked with him, so I kind of felt bad, it's kind of like, all right, well, I can kind of do the heavy lifting on here. The drummer, I'm like, it is what it is. At least I got some drums behind me, but the bass player, it was kind of annoying because I always felt like I had to dumb down the songs a little bit. Like I couldn't really write anything real complicated because he just couldn't do it.
Did you ever try to recruit any of the drummers from the Ridgely Metal Fests or the Dallas Music Fest that y'all were a part of?
No. I mean, it's one of those. By that point, the drummer I had by the time we were doing those, he was solid. Like I didn't have an issue once I went, the drummer that I've currently got, Chris, he's pretty good. He is kind of Lars-ish. We call him our Lars because he does kind of have a personality and he's not always consistent. So it's like, we give him some crap about it, but,
is he fucking all the whores too?
He would, if he could. Let's just put it that way. If the option was there, I think he'd take it.
Does he have a Swedish accent?
No, but he likes to eat a lot of Swedish meatballs, so it's close.
There it is. Now, when did Lovesick Drug present itself to you?
Well, officially, it was right around the end of 2019. But it really kind of started when I filled in for bass with Junk, which was Billy's band at the time.
Yeah.
He had me come in and fill in on a tour thing. And once again, I wasn't doing anything that I couldn't cut out for, a few weeks to do it. And he was just really impressed because he had me do a few parts where he's like, well, this is a newer song we're working on, so we don't really have a part for this. And I would just write something in there. He's like, holy crap, dude, that's really good. And so when I got done with it, he's like, dude, me and you need to go do something. And I'm like, all right, well, just give me a call when you think of something. And so he called me up a couple months later and go, you want to do it? And I'm like, all right, what do you want me to do? Bass, guitar, what? And he's like, I think you're being wasted on bass. Let's put you on guitar. And I'm like, all right. And I don't think he knew how well I could write at that point in time. Not toot my own horn, but I guess I do okay. And so he thought like he was going to be the main songwriter on most of it. And like he had handpicked a bunch of members and stuff like that. And we got together and it went pretty well. But immediately, like Radio and Lovesick Drug are both riffs that I brought in shortly thereafter. Radio is actually me fucking around. And Billy was just like, what is that? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm fucking around with the flanger pedal. And he's like, dude, we should write something with that. And I'm like, okay. And so we actually work really well. He's actually a really good songwriter. And it's almost like a Lennon-McCartney thing. Like me and him bounce ideas off of each other. And it's actually really cool because nobody gets butt hurt if their part's not getting used. It's kind of like if we want whatever's best for the song. So if what I'm doing is better, then he's going to do that. If what he's doing is better, then I go with it. So that actually works really well.
You're the McCartney, aren't you?
I want to be the Lennon, but it's one of those things that when it comes to like the crazy stuff, Billy will come up with the crazy ideas. So as much as I hate to say it, I might be, but I'd rather be the Lennon.
Or you could save it all and go solo, and you could be the George Harrison.
Yeah, I'll be the George Foreman. I'll just have a grill.
Lou Morris Grill. Y'all heard it first here.
Yeah, it
bang,
holds
bang,
all the fat.
shoot,
You actually add extra fat to it. I'm a big Lennon fan, so I love Lennon, but yeah, I tend to sometimes be the guy that has to like, oh, but this isn't in key. We should play it this way.
Oh dear, you have to be the adult. Ain't that a bitch?
I know it.
Now, 2004 to 2019, that's a 15-year gap. What were you doing in that time, sir?
I was still doing Coilback. It was one of those things that it was like, Coilback's been running nonstop the whole time. I took a short period of time for a couple years when I went to Disney and worked for them for a little while in Florida. And I thought that would be the end of it. We actually played the old Tomcats in Deep Ellum. And I thought that might be the last show, but I didn't want to do the whole thing where it's like, hey, it's our last show. And then I come back and we're doing it again. So I kind of just told my friends going, this might be the last time you see me play with Coilback, but I can't guarantee it. So we did the show there and ended up having to get a fill-in bass player because my bass player had already moved to Idaho at that point. And
why?
So I met a girl. And it's my fault.
There it is. It's always a girl.
We're still together, so I guess it worked out. I actually introduced to him, so that's kind of partially my fault.
It's always a girl or a stalk of corn.
Sometimes both. And so yeah. It's but I came back. Once I came back from Disney, I immediately tried to start it back up again. And at first it didn't really work with the guys that I had. And that's actually the drummer we've got now is the one that kind of dragged me kicking and screaming back. So I'm like, maybe, Coilback's run its course and I'll do something different. And he got a hold of me. He's like, dude, but I want to do the songs. They sound really good and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I got to go find a whole new lineup. Everybody moved away. And so he said, well, what if I learn all the parts? Could we look for some people? And I'm like, sure. And so a couple months later, he came and knew all the parts. So I was like, shit, I guess I got to, go with my word. And
when did you go to Disney?
I worked there back into 2007 and then came back around the front end of 2009.
Have you been back since?
Yeah, I've gone back there. I like going there. I just would never work for them again. They are shit to work for.
Well, yeah, they lost like $4 billion last year alone. So yeah,
they're a train wreck right now. It's ridiculous.
What do you think about them fighting DeSantis about that "Don't Say Gay" bill? Do you care?
To me, companies and politics just pisses me off in general. The fact that companies have so much pull in politics, it just pisses me the hell off. It's just one of those.
It shows what where the value really is in money.
It's all politics. Everything's run by lobbyists and stuff. I mean, the whole thing's a joke these days. It's just a front, and it just aggravates the shit out of me. Politics just are aggravating as hell. It's like nobody really gives two shits about the people anymore. It's all about ego and all about who's going to put money in their pockets. That's it.
Yeah. Do you care what a musician says about fucking politics? Really?
No. I mean, that's what I like about Alice Cooper is like, he brings that stuff up. He's like, why are you listening to me? It's like, to me, rock and roll is do what you want. So I'm not going to bring my politics into crap. So yeah, and that's one thing me and Billy
rocked the vote back in the day.
Oh, that was more of a joke than anything. It's like, oh well, because Dave from Megadeth told me to go vote. I guess I should go do that now. So
that and the Just Say No to Drugs campaign.
Yeah, that worked really well too. Yes.
Yeah, and now because they picked a fight with a governor on a issue that they had no stake in, now they no longer have tax exempt status, and now they have to pay their fair share like everybody else. That's like Vatican City being told to pay their fair share.
Oh yeah. I mean, God forbid companies actually have to put in. It's just ridiculous. I could go on all night about that crap, and it's just, I don't know. It's so aggravating. It's the whole thing. The more you look into the way things are actually run and stuff, the worse it is, and the more it just pisses you off.
Now, when you went back, did you go because of your kids?
No, didn't have any kids to bring. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no. I enjoy Disney. I mean, I like going there. It's like, fuck, I got a Maleficent tattoo. I mean, so it's like, I really like Disney. I grew up with it. I like the rides. I enjoyed the theming. I like the fact that, they really go out of their way to, hey, this, but it's been a shit show since like about 2010. Like everything's gone downhill. Stuff hasn't really run right and everything else. I've kind of taken a break from it. It's one of those, they're good in the sense that they were a company that had really high standards, but lately it just seems like they just keep going for the bottom line. They don't give two shits. So until they get their crap together, I'm not really just excited to go run back there.
Was there a big change in 2010 that made you switch off of Disney like completely?
Just watching the quality go down. I mean, even when I worked there, sitting there going, oh, hey, they want the best people. And, you really had to go out of your way to make sure that, every little thing, like details mattered. And then when I came back, I think the first time I came back was 2014, I want to say, as a guest. Might have been earlier than that, but somewhere around there. And noticed like stuff was broken down and, people just didn't give a shit anymore. And it was ridiculous. And it was never like that when I came there before. And obviously I'm not the only one that's thought that, because I mean, they even ended up firing the lady that was in charge of Walt Disney World itself, like shortly thereafter that. But the people they brought in haven't done any better. And they just keep increasing the cost, but you constantly hear the same complaints. And it sucks, because it's like, it was a really fun place to go and stuff, but like I said, I don't want to go places that's just going to piss me off for no reason. What's the point? So
just go to Six Flags.
Oh God, Six Flags is its own mess. But I mean, yeah, at least it's
during
local.
During the week.
Oh
don't
yeah,
go on the weekends.
Yeah, during the week, not in the summertime. I don't
now, so they had their own problems. Did they not pay you what you felt you deserved?
It's not that. I mean, I made okay money. I mean, you're not going to get rich working for Disney. But
you know what? I'm being vague about this, and I do apologize for cutting you off.
They obviously didn't pay him enough.
What were you doing for Disney?
Okay, I was a stage technician, so I did a lot of the shows and stuff that like are from the castle, and I mainly specialized in pyrotechnics because I actually worked pyrotechnics professionally for like 13 years. But I mainly did fireworks shows and stuff. But towards the end, the company that I worked for, they were getting less and less accounts because there's too many pyro companies in this area and not enough like business. And so the competition you were basically making less and less pay as shit went on. And so I went, well, I like going to Disney a lot and I like working with fireworks. So, hey, maybe I'll go there and get a job. And I ended up getting hired there and doing that. And by the end of it, I was doing the Magic Kingdom fireworks show at the end of the night. Like I was one of the crew members for that.
That's so fucking awesome.
It's cool the first couple weeks, and then it's boring as shit because it's the same show every freaking night. So
they don't switch it up like Pearl Jam?
No.
Did you have to go to school for that? The Pyrotechnical Institute? The PCT?
No. Actually, it was all on the job learning. It was I already kind of knew some electrical stuff, and most of the modern fire stuff is all electrical. So as long as you kind of know electrical, the rest of it's like, yeah, just don't get yourself blown up.
Hey Lou, you don't look busy. Blow this shit up.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's not the way it works. I mean, it was fun. I mean, like it was a fun thing, but I knew the odds were catching up with me because I mean, they are dangerous shows, especially the big shows. And especially for like local fireworks stuff, like Disney, they got all their shit buttoned down because it's a permanent fixture. But like to bring like a trailer out on like a city gig, Like we shot City of Allen a lot, for instance, and to go over there and bring all that stuff over there and get it all set up in a day and all that stuff. It's dangerous as hell. We've had a lot of close calls, and I just got to the point where I'm like, if I keep rolling the dice, something's going to happen. And it's one thing if I get blown to bits, okay, that's fine, but I don't want to get my arm blown off and suddenly I can't play guitar anymore or something. So I was like, I think it's about time to retire from this.
What kind of pyro were you doing before you joined Disney?
All of it. So it's one of those. I was licensed to do special effects and the big fireworks shows. So we would do the city shows during the 4th, and then we would do concerts and stuff like that, just here and there. So a little bit of everything.
Was that your full-time gig? Like you're paying your bills doing fireworks?
Mostly. It was the same company. We had an online sales business too that we did in the off season where we were selling like everything from knives and swords to airsoft guns and stuff. And that would make us money when we weren't getting the accounts and stuff. And I was actually in charge of that leg of it. And so it was one of those that we did that. But yeah, I mean, I was working for that exact company, like doing that. We would do pyro and then come back and do that. And then my bass player was the owner of the company. So for Coilback, the original bass player. So
nice.
It was all kind of tied together.
That's job security right there, people.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, how many times have you quoted Danny McBride from Tropic Thunder?
We were talking about that the other night on set, actually. Just sit there and just like, gotta get these pussies in the fucking dirt, in the shit. Yeah, no.
Mother Nature just shit herself.
I fucking love Tropic Thunder, man. I love that movie.
They could never make that movie today.
My favorite.
Oh, hell no. We were actually talking about, me and my girlfriend were talking about that. It's like, sitting there going, Mike, that's how good Robert Downey Jr.'s thing was. He managed to do that and be so convincing, nobody gave him shit over it when it came out. Like any other actor, they'd be like, oh my God, blackface. And like, he pulled it off so well. Everybody's like, fucking props to him, man. Now I heard that TikTok or some stupid ass shit, we're trying to cancel him, but yeah, good luck with that. But yeah, I don't think we can make it today. Yeah, the studios would shoot you down before you even get a chance. It's ridiculous.
So you're not a fan of TikTok?
Oh fuck no, God no. I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan of just the whole thing where it's like I'm offended, so everybody needs to adapt to me. It's like, no, dude, fucking okay. If you don't like it, fine, excuse yourself. But I'm not gonna put up with the crap where it's like I have to adapt the way I do stuff. And that's the thing in entertainment, especially. You got to be thick-skinned in entertainment because people will say all kinds of heinous shit about you. So it's just one of those things that I always tell people, you're not going to offend me. You might disrespect me, and then I might say something, but offend me, if whatever you do, if you're going to say something stupid or whatever, if you're not trying to start anything with me, I don't care. I really just don't care.
So when you hear that Governor Abbott is trying to ban TikTok from the state of Texas, does that affect you at all?
No, it really doesn't. Because once again, it's like everybody do what they want. I mean, it's one of those things. Once again, I don't believe in banning stuff because that to me, that's just as bad with the cancel stuff. But at the same time, it's like I don't give two shits about TikTok either. So personally, it doesn't affect me. As a whole, I don't agree with censoring or canceling anything. So it'd be hypocritical to go just because I don't like it. Good, yeah, fine, go away. But honestly, I don't care. I really don't.
Beautiful. Care. So if somebody says something that you don't agree with, you don't think that they should be fired and their career should be ruined.
No, once again, if you're not trying to directly disrespect me, like you're coming up to me going, hey, you know what, I'm going to go bang your girlfriend or something like, if it's just, you're generically saying something, even if it's just heinous ass shit, I don't care. I believe completely in freedom of speech. And that means that I'm going to get, upset with some shit people say sometimes. And okay, that's part of it. But don't say shit when I say something too. It goes both ways. So I don't believe in double standards. If I want that right, I got to get everybody else that right.
See, we need to adopt more of this centrist mentality amongst musicians, regardless of region, because for some reason, if you are a musician, you have to be left-leaning. Otherwise, you're country.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah. That's gotten ridiculous too. Like, I don't even understand that. It's just, I don't like far right. I don't like far left. It's just one of those.
The thing that bothers me the most about musicians and music is that you have to, be pro-American and, you just,
I'm pro-music.
Well, but your music can't be anti-American and unpatriotic.
I think you can. You just it's a lot bigger of a minefield. I think if you start enough crap, you get the attention. But you got to go all in. You can't just dip your toe in the water. If you want to start some shit, start some shit. But,
yeah. You can't just recite maxims the way that Rage Against the Machine did.
Yeah. It's like you gotta, if you want to say something, say it unapologetically. But if you try to like sit there and try to play both sides of it, ain't nobody gonna respect you. So it doesn't really matter.
But nobody really is saying anything is what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot to do with just pop in general. Like, I mean, any good music that says anything these days, it doesn't seem like anti or pro-American these days. It's just one of those things that it just, I don't know. I get it on one hand that, people, I don't want to have to think about this crap and everything else. But on the other hand, it's like, to me, rock and roll was always about like kind of shaking things up a little bit. So,
well, and
if you listen to some of the club lyrics, I am saying some shit in there. You just got to pay attention.
Oh, I will, bro. Thank you for reminding me. Are the lyrics in the video description?
Not always. I try to put them like they're
actually in the video on that Let It Go.
What's that?
They're actually in the video on that Let It Go song.
Some of them are. A lot of it is like Stalemate's one that it's a newer one that we did, and it kind of says the whole thing about, hey, both sides, you're getting played both ways. The only way you're going to win is not to play the game. And so that's the whole basis of that song.
Be above it.
Yeah. Don't play the game. It's like there's no way you're going to win. It's stacked against you the whole time. So what's the point?
Did you have to adopt a? Oh, go ahead.
Just because you're trying to promote your music, and it comes into play one way or the other.
It does, but it's one of those. Once again, it's I kind of take I don't give a shit attitude to a lot of it. It's like on a lot of things, I'm like, if you like me, you don't. You like me. If you don't, you don't. And there's plenty of people that don't like me, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I can just not like them, and I usually don't. So
so far I dig you pretty much, and I do genuinely like those two songs that I listened to a lot in the last couple of days.
Hell yeah, we like you around here, Lou. Please coming back.
Appreciate that. Yeah, now, I mean, to me, if the scene would just fucking get over themselves a little bit and just kind of come together a little bit more here, because I mean, there's so many bands right now that every time I see posts, it's always they love to self-promote, but they won't help anybody else, and they won't share anybody else's shit and everything else. I mean, hell, I was on KNON volunteering on Reckless Rock Radio, constantly trying to promote.
Thank you for doing that, Lou Morris. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, and it was my pleasure. I have so many friends in music. I mean, you guys had Steve Page, you guys had Rick Perry. I love those guys. We've done plenty of shows with Rivet Head, and I mean, I've definitely gone out to see Iron Jaw several times. And it's one of those things that it's like every time I see these bands just sit there and they'll post, hey, what do you want to hear? And they'll only ever talk about their own crap. And it's just like, are you fucking serious right now? It's like, quit trying to get them to get some other friends up there with you, and maybe they'll help you out, and everybody helps each other out instead of just being self-centered and just constantly promoting your own crap. But hey, that's just me.
Yeah, we all rise together. That's the way it works.
Exactly. There's enough room for everybody.
That's why this station is proud to promote any and all artists from DFW. I don't care if you're from Louisville or you're from Duncanville. We love you. Please get on our show. We want to play your music.
Yeah, it's not maybe too many people from Royce City. There's a select few. But
no matter which ville you be swinging from.
Hey, if they make good music, we'll play it. Guarantee that.
Hello, Randy Bell.
That's all that matters when it's all said and done. It's just music. This whole freaking scene with it's all high school drama bullshit. It's like I can't count how many people try to start shit talking about me. Everybody from Torch to Soul to fucking everybody else. I fuck all them. I know all y'all are fucking shit, but guess what? I don't care. So,
tell me, Lou, did you have to adopt this kind of pro-American rhetoric when you were selling Chevrolets?
No, I think that's why I didn't last very long. That was a fucking no. It's hilarious. I made more money actually hustling the dealership than I did actually selling to any customers.
Like a true American.
That's right. I'm gonna work the system. Damn it. So Yeah, that was a nightmare. But hey, you do what you got to do to make some money sometimes. So I tried it, didn't like it. Although it did make it easier to buy cars now because I know the game. So I bought my Dodge Challenger, and oh my god, like it was like the shortest freaking negotiation ever. So that was great.
You worked for Chevrolet and bought a Dodge. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah. Now I'm almost exclusively Dodge, not because of the brand thing. I love their unapologetic, just sort of, we're just going to throw all the horsepower in here, and damn if it gets traction or not. So
yeah, right. You were a Married with Children fan. That's why you bought a Dodge.
Yeah, I mean, who is it really? Come on.
Al Bundy is the hero that I try to live up to every day.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the standard.
Pissed off. Now, was this before or after you were a blackjack dealer for WinStar?
Oh, that would have been before. Blackjack dealer was interesting. That was actually a kind of a fun job, but it was actually harder than you would think it would be. And it's not even the cards. It's the keeping track of money. Because I mean, if you screw anything up when it comes to the, paying out or taking in or whatever, oh my God, it's your ass. So, I mean, I was in the military, and it was just like, that's right next to the hardest thing to train for was the blackjack dealer thing, believe it or not.
You were in the military too? Good Lord. You're like the busiest person I've ever met in my life.
I don't stay still much. Yeah, I was in the Air Force. So
no shit. That's fucking awesome. What'd you do for them?
Crypto linguist. I was in Intel.
Really? They had that back then? I'll be damned.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, military intelligence in the sense that they were finding out information. I wouldn't use the word intelligence exclusively with all of it because that's that was a joke and a half. But yeah, it was one of those things. It was an interesting job, but it was boring as shit. I really wanted to work with jets, and they ended up putting me on that, which was annoying as hell. But good duty station. I got to stay in Monterey, California most of the time, and I loved it there. So hey,
I love Monterey. Hell yeah, man.
Monterey's amazing. Yeah,
that's awesome. That is totally fucking awesome. Now, I'm quite certain that my old band Grain played with Coilback.
I think you guys might have. There was a notorious New Mexico gig we were supposed to do with you guys that got screwed up, which was the reason the drummer got kicked out, was because of that show.
Was it our fault? I'm sorry.
No, it was the drummer's fault. Remember the pyrotechnic job? We were rehearsing in the pyro warehouse, and he was, I told the booking agent, he came to check us out, and he wanted to bring a bunch of Dallas bands out there. Lots of empty promises, which I kind of knew, but I was like, hey, I'll take the gig if it's a good gig. Oh, excuse me. And he booked it behind my back. And I told the guy, I can do anything except the last week of June and the first week of July because I'm doing pyrotechnics. And we rehearse at the warehouse rent-free. So it's one of those things. The last thing I want to do is piss off number one, my job. And number two, we got free freaking rehearsal space. And his dumb ass goes and books us anyway. And then tells me at the last minute and then expects me to just quit my job and finance the whole thing and everything else. And I told him if he thought he could do better elsewhere, go elsewhere and get the hell out. And so that was the end of that. And that's when he left the band. But yeah, we were supposed to go play with you guys during that one. I know, because that was one of the bands he brought up. So I think we've played elsewhere though. I mean, fuck, I played with Steve Page back in the day when they were Squeegee. Coilback played a show with them. So before Rivethead.
I got acquainted with Squeegee before our interview with him. Holy shit, dude. Squeegee was fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, they were great live too. I mean, Rivethead's still good live, but it's one of those. It's like, yes, even in those early days, Squeegee was badass. So yeah, I love those guys. Like Steve's cool as hell.
Oh, he's the best. Oh, yeah. I love his accent. And
yeah, very British
and his cute face.
He's very British and loves some Star Wars. So
right. So, as someone that's a little bit older school, such as myself, such as Ricky, what are your thoughts on social media as a whole?
It's good and bad. I mean, it's one of those things that, to me, it levels the playing field a little bit when it comes to, especially being a musician. Back in the day, you had to kind of like, go on a knee and try to do everything you can to kiss up to record labels just to get any kind of exposure. And so, now I can share all my crap, with no matter how bad it is, with thousands of people if I choose to. But it's one of those things that, on the other hand, there's a lot of fake bullshit out there. A lot of people trying to create an image. A lot of people living for that image. I know tons of people, relationships, and otherwise that they really just all they care about is getting the likes and stuff. It's like an addiction. And it's like the insecurities, they just cover it up with like likes and comments and everything else. So they'll sit there and do either stupid ass shit or just some raunchy ass shit just to try to get likes and stuff. And it's just kind of pathetic to see. It's almost like watching a druggie.
Right. I think it's what a dopamine hit, I think is what they call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Dopamine, fantastic band.
Oh, I don't think I've heard them.
Scott Brooks's other band with
Scott's other band. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Now I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, the name didn't hit me at first. Yeah, Scott's cool as shit too. Good guitar player as well.
Oh yeah, a real nice, real laid back dude. And
oh yeah,
and fucking Laura is totally fucking cool. I've known her for
shit. God, Laura's amazing.
I've known Laura almost 20 years now, man.
That girl's got some stage presence. She brings it every time.
Oh yeah, y'all remember Faded Grace, right?
Oh yeah. I put one video at them out of that Lou Morris Media thing. I caught them when they did Curtain Club. I think that was like the last show, possibly too. Yeah. Faded Grace is amazing too.
Curtain Club. That must have been a while ago.
Yeah. I mean, it was right whenever they were kind of doing that wind down when everybody's playing their last shows for Curtain Club, and because they'd already announced it. Like we played with Coilback played with Rivet Head and Razorblade Dolls as our last little the thing there. And then Faded Grace, they played with Erstwhile, and I can't remember who else was on the bill, but they got together for that. And then shortly thereafter, oh man, I forgot her name, the guitar player, Jess, she kind of went on her little exploring the world thing. And so they kind of stopped doing it again. Dude,
y'all and Razorblade Dolls and Rivet Head, that must have been fucking amazing.
Oh, it was a great show. I loved it. Yeah, it was just, I mean, once again, I've known Scar for a long time. Back when he was with what was the name of that band? Trendkill Clinic.
You talking about David Carpenter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They had Trendkill Clinic way before they did Razorblade Dolls, and I played a couple shows with them, and then like Steve Page and Squeegee. So yeah, I've known a lot of those guys for a while, and whenever they announced it, we all kind of got together, put that show together. I think if I remember right, the Stalemate music video where we did the live version of it, there's some footage from that show of us playing the Curtain Club. Like there's two shows on the video. I think it's the Curtain Club and Haltom. They're on that video.
Are you cool with what Deep Ellum has become?
Oh God, no. The gentrification thing. The city of Dallas is notorious for screwing up anything worthwhile. I remember when West End was a thing, and then the city came in and wrecked that too. But yeah, no, Deep Ellum's a joke now. It's gotten too stabby and it's not even worth it. It's like there's nothing worthwhile. It's all just fake BS crap, like hipster crap. And no, thank you. Yeah.
Is there a scene brewing? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Ricky.
Any clubs down there taking Clearview's place?
Clearview's place? Oh God, no. No, nobody's been able to be Clearview again. And then yeah, I mean, when Curtain left, we do as bad. I mean, Trees is still trying to kind of hang on, but even Trees is kind of these days. And that's it. I mean, they're all gone. Galaxy, The Rock, all that crap is just, there's nothing that's been like that anymore. Like the late 90s, early 2000s, man, that was back when you could get like a wristband and like club hop and shit.
It was like, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Deep Fridays were the best fucking weekend ever.
Yeah. And you always knew it'd be good shit because the bands had to earn the weekend spots. So it was always good shit on the weekends.
Oh, yeah. And they had to play at their utmost peak because otherwise they were walking to the next club over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was like people were like, hey, you know what? This sounds like crap. We're going to go over to the next club. And yeah, it was great. And that was, you knew if you went there on a weekend, you were going to hear some great crap and you're going to have a good time. And now it's like, it's a joke. You go there, you pay too much for parking so you can eat a gigantic slice of pizza that's probably infested with rats, and you pay too much for ice cream and then go watch a band phone it in. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, but back then, like when the Boiler Room was open, at that time, you had the Boiler Room, you had Wits End, you had Clearview, you had Reno's.
Yeah, there was Reno's down there, Clearview, like Ghoultown's regular club is Clearview. Ours back in the day was Indigo Club, where that Pecan Lodge is now. Indigo Club was Coilback's main kind of home club. We played there more than anywhere.
Okay.
Loved Indigo Club. Great sound system, big stage. It was fun.
Is there a scene brewing in Louisville?
What?
A scene in Louisville.
Tease is trying to do a thing, I guess. I mean, we went and played Tease, but they get a lot of tribute bands. Once again, they try to do some original stuff here and there, but like past that, not a lot, honestly. It's like I know that Gas Monkey's trying to build something close to here, and we're going to try to get into that, like the legit Gas Monkey, like Richard actually running it this time. But yeah, I mean,
he said he wanted to open a gambling casino, him and Mark Cuban.
That wouldn't, I would be willing to do that, but it's yeah, I mean, you know, if you got Cuban and him on board, it's going to be interesting at the very least.
Oh, I saw him interview Mark Cuban, and that's what one of the things they were talking about.
Yeah, Cuban has been threatening to open up a venue for a while, but I don't know what's going on with it. If it's just like it's a fun idea for him and he's kind of about it, or if
no, they want to own the casinos. Like they want casinos, man.
I'd be okay with that. I mean, I don't have a real problem with casinos. Obviously, I worked for one for a little while, but I would never work for one again because that sucked. But it was fun while I did it.
Well, since Gas Monkey became amplified, they opened the floodgates as far as like the extreme metal. So you would think that would actually be a good thing, is it not? You don't think?
It's the inside stage shows that are the problem. It's like it used to mean something to play over there because they booked some of the better bands and stuff, and they started opening up an inside stage. And I don't know who the promotion is. I went to one of the first ones, and there was bands that literally walked out and didn't play because they were screwing them on the bill and telling them they expected them to play the house kit and all this stuff. And now they'll let anybody play. You see like constantly just bottom of the barrel bands playing those like inside shows. And it's a joke. And they think it's something special. And it's just like, oh, we're playing amplified. It's like, yeah, you're playing the inside and you're going to act like you're, some big shit or something because you got to play amplified. But it's not the same thing. And it's one of those, there are some good bands, and I'm glad they got some metal going in there now. I mean, by all means, but at the same time, it doesn't mean what it used to. Like they'll literally let anybody book over there if you sit there and say, hey, we'll play a Thursday night or we'll play a Friday night or whatever. And I've just seen some bands that are just a joke that play over there and they just think that they're hot shit now. And it's like, okay, well, good for you, but you still sound like ass. So, chew your gum and enjoy your fun. But
Are you a fan of the metal that has been coming out of DFW over the last 15 years or so?
15? There's been some good bands. There's been some good. I think we're a little saturated in certain things like death metal and stuff. I mean, because there's good death metal, and then there's just guys that are just tuning down to drop whatever, and it sounds like mud, and somebody's puking over it. But people just listen to it because it's down tuned and it's heavy. It's like cool, but there actually are some good musicians. I'm like Demon Seed, they're decent, and everything else. It's like yeah, exactly. What was the one that used to be around? They played a lot. They broke up recently, and I like back when Splatterfish, back when Andrea was singing and all them. They're good.
Fuck yeah, Splatterfish. Fuck, dude, I haven't heard that name in forever. Fuck yeah.
Andrea kicked ass on vocals, and it's one of those things that it was like, see, that's decent death metal. But once again, it's kind of like a lot of them are just like everybody just grabs a guitar, tunes it down to nothing, and said, hey, puke over this for a little while, and we got an album. So whatever. If people like it, people like it. Once again, double standard if I sit there and say it shouldn't be around because I don't like it. But hey, if it gets people in the door, fuck it.
How about put a chick out there?
What's that?
Put a chick out there to sing death metal vocals.
I mean, that's what they did with Splatterfish. And I mean, Andrea could nail it. She beat out a lot of these male vocalists. I mean, she was kicking ass on that.
Yeah, now, is that Andrea from Silver Loves Mercury? Or different Andrea?
No, Andrea Alexis.
Okay.
Yeah, no, she did Splatterfish. They changed her name at Anathemic for a real short period of time, and then I guess she just got tired of doing it or whatever. Her and her guitar player,
Anathemic. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Her and her guitar player got married, and I think he's doing the Lockjaw thing now. And I don't think she's doing anything. So,
did you go to that show?
Nah, I was busy doing some other stuff, busy working. Actually, I think that was actually one of my shoot days. I had to be on set, so I couldn't make that one.
Would you have gone if you had the opportunity?
I probably would. I mean, like Aaron from Vivid and Vulgar, I'm good friends with him, and I love Vivid and Vulgar. Great guys, fun music, fun show. and stuff like that. So there was a lot of my friends that were playing, you know, so yeah, I totally would have went. And, you know, once again, I almost always find some other bands I like when I go to those things, but I'm not a huge fan of the gigantic festival day where you get some bands starting at like noon and 1 and stuff. To me, those bands always get shafted. It's like, okay, you ever playing a big, you get to say you played the festival, but you're going to be playing in the afternoon. Ain't nobody going to stay there for like 12 hours for the whole damn thing. So, you know, very few people are going to come and see those bands. So it just always feels like they're getting kind of screwed on that bill. But hey, you know, once again, if people are going to fill the spots, they're going to keep doing it. So whatever.
Are you digging what Fort Worth has been doing?
Fort Worth seems to be stronger in metal right now than Dallas, to be honest. They seem to have a better scene. Haltom, I love what Chaz is doing with Haltom.
Yeah, you got Haltom Theater.
Oh, yeah. He's been kicking ass on that place. Like, every time I go there, it's a little bit better each time. And he's constantly trying. And I love the fact that he hard stance on trying to really support original music. It'd be so easy to fall in that tribute trap right now. And he still wants to really carry that flag to keep original music going. So, you know, Chaz is great. We play Haltom every chance we get.
Yeah.
When was the last time Coilback played?
It's been a couple years. Here's the funny thing. So we had our 20th anniversary on 2020. And so we were like, all right, we're going to have this big freaking thing. We made an hour-long, like, kind of Spinal Tap style documentary. I you know, hit up all these celebrities on Cameo to kind of make some joke stuff about us and everything else. And, you know, we were going to plan all these shows and play all these songs we haven't played in forever and everything. And the first one was going to be in March with Little Green Men. And we had models coming in from New York and everything. And I always say Coilback's Dallas's answer to Spinal Tap, because in true Coilback fashion, somehow we managed to summon a damn plague. And the only show we played on our 20th anniversary was a New Year's Eve show starting at 11 p.m. So for our 20th anniversary, the biggest year we had planned, we literally played the last possible hour we could on that year, which is just par for the course with us.
So you brought COVID. Thanks.
Yeah, you know, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry
I thought it was me. So, yes.
Yeah.
Good to know. Letting you have it.
Yeah, sorry about that. But hey, the upside is we're not going to have another 20th anniversary anytime soon. So, you know, you're safe on that one. 25th, I can't guarantee. Let's see, that was the plague. So what's next? Famine, or was it war? I don't remember. So one of the Four Horsemen might show up.
Is there a particular venue that you want the comeback show to be from?
Like one that exists or one that I wish would come back?
No, one that exists. Let's be real.
Man. Slim pickings here. I'd probably do Haltom just because Chaz really kind of just lets me drive the boat on that one. Like, I literally just kind of call up Chaz and go, hey, I want to do a show. What do you got available? He gives me a date and I just fill the bill how I feel like. So it's real easy going with Haltom. Like, I wouldn't mind Amplify just because Amplified's got a great stage and a good sound system out on the outdoor stage. The indoor stage is a piece of crap, but like the outdoor stage is nice. But depending on the weather, you're kind of a slave to that. And then on top of that, like I said, it's just not the same. So if I had to narrow it down to something, probably Haltom if we did anything.
No, I don't mean to toot mine or Ricky's horn, but what are your thoughts on the Arlington scene?
I haven't done a lot in Arlington. It's been a long time. Like, I mean, back in the day, you know, we played Dream World and Division 1 and all those places, but there's not a ton of stuff going on over there that we can actually play like original. I mean, there's Mavericks and stuff. But you know, it seems like right now Arlington's still trying to kind of find their way back to where they used to be.
Have you been to Growl?
Yeah, we played Growl once. It's fun. It's a good time because you're right there with the crowd. Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's a fun venue for sure. It doesn't feel like you could actually really go full on production with it stage wise, but for an intimate show where you just wanted, like, I mean, we were just getting, I mean, our bass player was in there moshing with the crowd when we played Growl. It was fun. So it's a good time, but yeah, I mean, I really wish that they would kind of at least, you know, put like a little bit of a riser on there. So it kind of feels like there's a stage. At least you're not just everybody right here in your face whenever you're singing. So
yeah, it's just not enough space in there. It's a punk rock show.
But I dig it. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun with it. So it was a fun show.
They set that stage up outside, by the way. They do some shows outside now.
I saw that. Yeah, that wasn't there whenever we played there that time. I saw the weather kind of screwed that up a little bit. But no, I enjoyed the venue. It's fun. Definitely.
I brought it up in the sense of a scene. You know, we're talking about the Arlington scene. You got Mavericks and you got Growl.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I just feel like that they're trying to get Arlington has the potential. It really does. It's just one of those. They just, it's just hard these days without a little centralized sort of district. 'Cause, I mean, even with Fort Worth, you had like Tomcats and the Rail were right next to each other and crap. And Tomcats went away, and then the Rail was a mess for a little while. So it's an awkward time right now. I have a feeling it's going to kind of be like the old days back with the basement and Dallas City Limits and stuff, where it's going to be kind of like there's really not going to be one spot. So it's good and bad. It's good in the fact that you'll probably keep the crowd that's there because they got nowhere else to go, but it's hard to get people to come to certain areas. It's real split apart.
Do you think the problem is because there are so many bands that are derivative as opposed to like obliquely original?
I think that's part of it. There's a whole lot of you go to a show and it just feels like it's just the same thing over and over again. But there's just some good bands. I mean, there are some really good bands. I mean, just being on Reckless, I saw that, we'd be playing stuff going, holy crap, who is this? And it's amazing how much stuff is in our backyards, but people just don't appreciate it. And I remember back in the day when 20, 30 people, that was the minimum you had to bring in if you wanted to even play a venue. And these days you're a god if you bring that in. It's ridiculous. And just trying to get people out in the original scene. And I think I've told people before, I think to get big in DFW, you have to go elsewhere and have everybody else like you. And then DFW kind of fair weather kind of comes along going, oh yeah, we were totally about these guys the whole time. That's how it is, sadly enough. But that's what it is right now. It's whenever I've toured or everything, it sucks to say, but DFW has always been some of our worst shows on the tours. Like everywhere else you go, you're appreciated, but your hometown, nobody gives two shits. Even if they don't know you're from here. I mean,
the funny thing about that is that people in Dallas Fort Worth think they're badass. They go to shows, and our shows are fucking kick ass here in Dallas Fort Worth. And some of them are sometimes,
Mm-hmm. There's good shows out there. I mean, when we did Vulgar Fest back when Vivian Vulgar was doing stuff, oh my God, like they went all out on that crap. They had the little like freak show sort of thing, the burlesque dancers in between bands and doing all they would really bring it. Yeah. And it's still one of those, it's like you're struggling to get people out there. We played that show with Warbeast that they had. And it was one of those things, they finally got some people to come out to see the Warbeast stuff, but even early on, people were barely coming in. It wasn't like they didn't want to show up till Warbeast. It's like, you could come early and see if there's something else you like besides the one band So maybe give it a shot.
I'm so glad that you brought up. Go ahead, Ricky.
It's been that way for a while. Like I was trying to think of some of the bigger local shows I've been to, and like the Warlock reunion show.
Oh, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Warlock reunion with Rick Perry. That was at Diamond Gems, and that place was as full as I've ever seen it that night.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I haven't been in Diamond Gems in a while, but yeah, it's like one of those. That was actually a fun place to play too. That was kind of.
They haven't been doing shows. I mean, not consistently. From time to time, I see a band over there, but that's
yeah. Like I said, it just feels like it's a mess right now. They're just everybody's trying to work it out. Everybody's trying to.
Some of those Warbeast shows used to be pretty good.
Oh yeah, Warbeast always put on a good show. I mean, Bruce freaking would always bring it. Even that last show.
No, I mean crowd size.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's one of those things that Warbeast definitely had a following, but once again, it's like, they had God's blessing with Phil, so to speak, and everything else. So then suddenly everybody's like, oh, we have to like them now because, Phil from Pantera said so. And that's the problem.
What other bands draw like that? Are there other bands that can actually draw 200 people on a regular basis?
I think they could if people would actually give them a chance and not have it spoon-fed and have somebody told that they're, hey, this is a good band now because so-and-so said they're a good band. It's like if people would get their own opinion around here, but that's kind of the problem, is a lot of people will not listen to anything new unless they're already told by somebody else that they like.
Yeah, they're all scenes, man.
Yeah, they're there to take selfies and say they were there at the show. I can't count how many times you go to Curtain Club and there would be all these people tagging, hey, I'm at this show, but they're up in the smoking area the whole time. They literally just wanted the image of them being there. And they're not even listening to the damn bands. And we go back to the social media thing. They're doing it for likes. They're not doing it because they give two shits about the music. Not that
that's crazy to think about.
Sadly, that's DFWC. It's where we're at. And until we kick some sense into everybody, it's kind of what we have to do. But eventually, we'll get them there. We just got to drag them kicking and screaming.
Let's talk about Love Sick Drug.
All right.
Are y'all going to have shows coming up?
We are. We just took some downtime because we're all working on movies. I mean, 3 of us actually, work in movies. Our lead singer, she's an actress and a model and everything else. Billy's a diva, and I mean, he's an actor, and and I'm working on stuff too. And so, yeah, it's just one of those things that we wrapped up the album, and we're working on getting a new music video set up. We're going to shoot that pretty soon. And then we're going to try to get the album done, the CD artwork done, and all that stuff. So we're going to try to have a CD release pretty soon.
Yeah.
We're working on that. We tend to take December through February off in all my bands that I've been in, because it's real hard to get people to come out. And the weather's so unpredictable around here, unless it's a special show. Like we've done the KNON show. We did the show with Ghoultown and all that stuff. But like, if it's not anything really worth it, we don't just book a show for the sake of booking a show in those months.
Dude, you're probably going to have to like book a festival out there at Haltom.
I'm not against it. I'm really not against it.
Do a 10-band banger or something.
Yeah, my big thing is we worked with Pam from Under a Spell, me, Aaron from Vivid Vulgar, and Pam. We did that first Haltom Metal Fest where we had 6 bands per night, and we did I think it was a Friday Saturday thing. And so it was one of those, because that wasn't too bad. You didn't start too early where you're shafting the early bands, and you could still make a weekend of it, and you still got 12 bands out of the deal. Yeah, and that went okay. It was one of those, that one wasn't bad, but it was just the sheer logistics of it is just a pain in the ass sometimes. We had one band flake on us, and then, it's like herding cats sometimes trying to get 6 bands to all get there on time. So, yeah, but it's fun when it happens though. It's once again, it's a good time. We have a version of Let Me Go that we put online that we filmed there, where I had Aaron from Vivid and Vulgar singing it with me, and Scotty from Tower High was up there with us too. We just all sang it together, so it was a good time.
I listened to it multiple times.
Now, with Reckless Rock Radio, did you, I would assume, had a bunch of special guests? Is that correct?
Oh yeah. We'd bring in people here and there. Didn't do it all the time, because I mean, it was one of those, obviously you want to play music, and we bring a guest on, you want to be able to talk to them a lot. But yeah, we definitely had some guests come in the studio or call in. Like we had
the unique thing about Reckless is they focus on local bands only, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's all North Texas. We did a few shows where we would kind of stretch the rules just to mix it up. So one time we did one, it's like, okay, it's not going to be local bands, but we're playing a bunch of live tracks that were all played locally. So like we did one from the Van Halen Dallas show, and like an old Nitsinger one, and some stuff like that. But it was all stuff that might not necessarily be a Dallas band, but was played in the Metroplex.
I listened to that one.
So yeah, it was one of those. We do a few of those, but the primary goal, and Lee Russell's the one that spearheaded this. He came down from Canada and fell in love with the music scene here, and he's like, it's amazing how many good bands are down here that nobody's paying attention to, and he wanted to bring it.
We fell in love with him too as a badass sound man.
Oh, Lee's amazing. Lee just puts everybody to shame. It's ridiculous. He's behind a board. You're just going to sound good no matter what.
Yep.
Was there ever any rivalry with y'all and Hard Time and Alan and all them?
Oh no, we loved Alan. Alan's great. No, it was one of those. Alan even would help me out because we wouldn't be able to play anything of my stuff. Anything I was involved in, it was against the station policy for us to play it. So it was one of those. Thrash and Alan would play Coilback for us and played Love Sick Drug for us before and everything else. And so there was never a rivalry. If anything else, we kind of complimented each other. Like Alan would kind of sometimes leak in some local stuff, but would get people on the national stuff too. And then, we'd always mention Thrash and Alan here and there too. I want to say Spicoli brought him on once and played some of his stuff, or he wanted to, one of the two. I don't remember if it happened or not. I know that was in his plans, is he wanted Alan's band.
What's the relationship between you and Spicoli?
Les Spicoli. He's actually the one that brought me on the show. He found me doing a little kind of almost like this sort of thing, but it was kind of a shit fest. And he was laughing on the fact that I kept the show. I would try to keep the show going no matter how just stupid things were going. And he's like, dude, you're completely being wasted over here. You need to be on the radio. So I was like, let me know. And so he convinced Lee to bring me on. And it was a good time. The only reason I left is I just couldn't keep up with the schedule with everything I'm doing right now. So it was one of those that I just found myself constantly having to go, can't make it this weekend, can't make it this weekend. But I've been back. I came in there and guested with Spicoli one time when Lee couldn't make it, and he wanted some company, so I came in there. So I'm still on good terms with everybody, and I hang out with Greg anytime I get a chance, which is not very often, but like Spicoli's great. He's definitely, I call him a professional fan. He is definitely championing the local scene a lot. And he is unapologetically will come out and ask for an autograph and everything else.
Were you a big fan of K-Rock?
Big fan of what?
Z-Rock.
Z-Rock. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Glad to be here with you today, Jarvis.
K-Rock.
Yeah. Well, hey, for what it's worth, I just turned 40. Okay, so I'm trying to get my bearings.
Oh yeah, the memory's gone. No, I listened to Z-Rock back in the day, man. That was here, wait, actually, let me see. Hang on, give me a second. Here. I found something from my high school that was an old sketchbook I had, so this will give you an idea. Right there.
There it is. Z-Rock, everybody.
Yep. So that was my favorite station when it was around, despite them getting kicked off the air 2 different times. But I guess that's why I liked them so much, is they just didn't give 2 shits.
Now, when they got kicked off, were you more of a Q102 fan or a 97.1 fan?
I kind of went in between. Like Q102 had a better morning show at the time. Like I didn't mind Russ, but he kind of got on my nerves sometimes. But like
sometimes, shit.
He had his moments.
That's just part of the gig.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. When Russ was on, he was fucking amazing. But he would spend like 2 hours talking about his dogs and how much more money he makes than you, the listener. And it got really fucking annoying after a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had his moments, but he'd aggravate you sometimes. And so, Q102,
I used to watch him on TV.
I'd say was probably I was on Q102 more. But like the Eagle had certain shows that I liked. I'd get on like more in the evenings. I found myself listening to the Eagle more.
Yeah, Eagle and Howard Stern.
Yeah, I think they had Stern. Yeah,
I miss the Bone.
Evenings.
I miss 93.3 The Bone. I miss them because they actually gave out free concert tickets.
Yeah, and the Bone, Debbie Sexton was the first person to put Coil back on FM because she had her little local thing going, and she was the first person to actually put Coil back on the radio.
Really,
like back in the day on the Bone.
Ass, dude, that is kick ass.
Debbie's always been great, even from Colorado. She still supports the DFW scene, so I mean, she's always been a champion of that too.
Yeah, she had a grain on QTV, and she never spoke to me ever after that.
Whoops. Now I've like we talked to Debbie a lot. I still send her tracks and stuff like that, even though she can't get on the radio. It's like, hey, dude, she wants to listen to it still. It's like, here you go. Here's our newest thing. She's like, oh, kick ass. So yeah, now it's the Bone was a good station. It really was a good station. I think they had too much fun was the problem.
And yeah, that's the problem with any good broadcasting. Opie and Anthony had a lot of fun, but unfortunately, they just got overshadowed by Howard.
Yeah, Howard back in the day, especially, man, he was a hard act to fucking try to keep up with. I mean, he was he got his reputation built up quick, so it was one of those. Once again, everybody said, "Hey, Howard's the guy you got to listen to because he's the one that's popular." So people go, "Okay," and they go do that and not get anybody else a chance. But there was people that had their moments. So, but here we are now. All those stations are gone. So.
Hey Lou, do you listen to anyone on The Freak?
I have not tuned in, to be honest.
Wow, how about
a lot of radio in general. Not opposed to it. I listen to talk radio here and there when I get a chance, but I just haven't really had the time since they switched over. I've been so damn busy. If I listen to anything, half the time I'm either listening to a few things that I'm trying to listen to get a style down. Like to give you an idea, the 2 punk rock songs we had to write for Billy's soundtrack thing is they wanted us to sound kind of like the Stranglers a little bit. And so I had to sit down and listen to some Strangler stuff to kind of get it in my head, how they kind of write and everything else. And that's kind of what
fucking badass, man.
To be honest, I'd forgotten about them. Like Billy brought them up and I was like, oh shit, the Stranglers. Yeah. And so, me and him wrote a couple songs that they don't mimic it. It's got the same feel because they wanted that feel. So that's kind of what the director told us. He goes, can you give me something that feels like this, but not this song, obviously. So we're like, sure. So that's actually what I've been working on this week, last couple of weeks actually. And finished up my part. I'll be meeting with Billy tomorrow to wrap it up, hopefully, and we'll have that done, and I could move on to shooting some movie scenes again. So,
out of curiosity, would you wish that you could have had the time with your guests on Reckless Rock Radio that me and Ricky have had with you, and just to get to know the guest that's in your studio?
Oh, definitely. Because I mean, you know, we obviously had to play a lot of tracks all the time, so it was one of those things that, like, when we had Andy Timmons on the phone, oh my God, he was a blast. And you know, it was just one of those, you just found yourself going, well, we got to play some tracks, and you know, we got to make sure we play the commercials and stuff like that. And so it's kind of sucked that we didn't really get to sit down and really get down and talk to him. You always want more time, and it sucks. It's kind of one of those, I wish we could take times like that, just do an interview on its own. We actually did that with Black Horse. We went over to one of their houses. I can't remember who. Me and Spicoli went over there, and we recorded the whole interview. So we got to sit down and just yak with them without any time constraints. And then we just edited it down and then broadcast pieces of the interview on the station. But at least we got to kind of take the prime cuts, so to speak, which I thought was a good way to do it. Yeah. But that's the only time we ever did it. Otherwise, you know, everybody likes live in the studio and all that stuff. So, yeah, whatever.
Who were some of the guests that you had in the studio that you wish you would have had another hour or so with?
Andy, definitely. It was kind of fun when we had Wayne Stokely and Jimmy Adcock and all them, because we kind of did a throwback, hey, you know, back in the day, kind of like we were doing with Deep Element stuff. That was kind of a lot of fun. We would go on some tangents on that one, because all three of us kind of had played. And I know Wayne back when he was playing with Fame 15 when he was a teenager. So it's one of those things that it was kind of fun to reminisce and talk about, oh, you remember this place and this show and playing with these guys or this band here. Like, you know, back in the day, like when I went to Deep Ellum, Ugly Mustard was my jam. I fucking listened to tons of Ugly Mustard, and still actually have a T-shirt of theirs in my closet. And you know, it's just one of those. That was fun. Oh, God, who else did we have in there? We had Kerry Crafton in there talking about some of the Warbeast stuff and everything. He let us hear some of the Aerosmith tracks that they actually, because Bruce was a huge Aerosmith fan, and they were going to do a tribute album with Aerosmith stuff, and Bruce never got to sing it. And so they still have the music tracks, so they're thinking about doing something with it, possibly. And we had Casey Orr from Guar and formerly of Rigor Mortis and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, God, the list goes on. I mean, we even brought Lyle in, which, you know, he's a friend of mine, but it's still fun because he'll come up with, you know, Spicoli will ask us something I don't even think about, because I never think about Lyle as much on the Solitude Aeternus stuff. I mean, I know that's a good portion of his history too, but I kind of met Lyle in the Ghoultown days. So to me, Lyle is Ghoultown, where for Spicoli, Lyle was Solitude Aeternus. And so he was asking a lot of stuff. So I got to hear stories from Lyle that, you know,
I know Lyle all the way back to Ivory Crump days.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Are there any bands up and coming that you would recommend for our viewers?
God, up and coming. I had to think about that one. Erstwhile was kicking ass, but then they just kind of stopped. I don't know the story on that.
I think what I mean is, are there any young people that play metal anymore? That's what I mean.
Not metal as I would say that, you know, I think of metal, or like Coilback style and stuff like that. Most of it now, they're kind of going more the metalcore sort of thing. I can't think of too many around here that are doing, like, I guess what we call classic metal now, or whatever, you know, where you can actually understand the damn lyrics.
No, that's not necessary.
I don't know any.
As long as they bring a good fucking show, that's all that matters. Like,
yeah,
who brings a good fucking show?
Yeah, young wise, it's hard to say. Like, I really haven't seen too many, because most of them seem to be slipping into the punk or death metal thing right now. That seems to be most of the young guys I know are playing in that. Like I said, bands that have been around for a little bit, like, you know, once again, like Vivid and Vulgar and all them, like, they're decent. And God, who was that other band that was I saw recently? The name escapes me. There was a band that's kind of up and coming that I heard that I was really impressed with, and I cannot remember the name for the life of me.
Have you heard of Hunt the Dinosaur?
I have not.
They are fucking amazing. Like, they somehow incorporate trap rap with death metal, and they are fucking amazing. They're from Dallas, and
okay.
I think I think the oldest member is like 26, maybe. So they are definitely a band to look out for.
I'll have to check them out. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting combo. They could be really horrible or really great. It's it's one of those things. It's like, hey, Randy Roy, he just chimed in.
He's listening. Sends his love.
Are you a fan of modern music, like modern pop music at all?
Ooh, modern pop music. Once again, I go back to I don't really categorize it. It's like if it's a good song, then I'm fine with it. You know, but you don't find a lot of that in pop. Like every once in a while you find something catchy, but I find pop's kind of like a candy bar. It's good in small doses, but if you do a lot, you're just going to end up being really unhealthy. So it's kind of one of those that I never was a huge pop fan, but at the same time, it's like I don't turn it off if it's a decent song. Like if somebody plays me something, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I don't hear it as much. Like I tend to be more, you know, I guess traditional rock metal. It's like I want to hear guitar, I want to hear instruments. I don't want to just hear a bunch of crap programmed into a computer that's all been done on a MIDI keyboard. So
Lady Gaga.
I'll listen to a couple of Lady Gaga. She ain't horrible.
I knew you would.
Yeah. I got no problems with her. Like Lady Gaga. God, I'm trying to think.
That's the first good pop that came to my mind.
Yeah. No, she's a good songwriter. So I go back again. Like she actually writes a lot of her crap, and you find that a lot when they write their own stuff. It tends to be a little more soul in it. Yeah. When they're just hiring a bunch of songwriters and just singing whatever they got handed to them, they tend to be. So. Bruno Mars. I like Bruno Mars. He's not bad. He's got a couple good tunes. I wouldn't listen to him all day, but he's got a couple good tunes. Man, I can't.
And see, here's the thing, guys. Everybody that we're mentioning is 37 and older. Are there any like young cats bringing some new shit that you're very interested in?
Man, I guess I never really think about age, so I'd have to think about like if there's anybody that's young that's doing it.
Just in their 20s, like earlier than 25, even. We'll take that.
Like I remember 2009, Lil Wayne became like the biggest thing since sliced bread, and I basically just tuned out of all modern music for like 10 years, and then I heard the song that Post Malone did with Ozzy Osbourne, and that brought me back. And it made me interested in the music that I had totally ignored for the prior like 13, 14 years. And I got to say, even though it's not metal, the stuff that people like Drake and Megan Thee Stallion and even Imagine Dragons are doing shit that is way different than like people that you and I grew up admiring.
No, I got no problem with Imagine Dragons. My girlfriend's a huge Imagine Dragons fan. And it's like she's played some stuff for me, and it doesn't. The only thing I hate is like how radio just makes you sick of certain songs by them, because like you turn on the radio and it's like, oh, let's play this one again, and it's like, you know, they did more than one song, right? You know, and so it's one of those. Once again, I don't ever really think, oh, this is a younger band, this is an older band, or whatever. I just kind of think, is it good music or is it not? So yeah, there's been some stuff. She especially has played me some stuff, because she tends to listen to a little more alternative pop and stuff like that. She does listen to metal and rock just as quick, but she's turned me on to a few things where she's played it. I'm like, hey, that's not bad at all. And so, but I never really go, hey, is he in his 20s or in his 30s? You know, I'm not trying to bang him, so it's like I don't really pay attention that much to that part.
I think he's talking about the future of metal. I remember when there were a lot of bands just 15 years ago.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that, but I think it goes in cycles. I think everybody kind of gets sick of it for a little bit, and then it comes back, and it always comes back a little bit different, but it does come back. And I mean, you look at all those bands like Killers and the Black Keys and stuff, they're just basically playing 70s style rock with a little twist on it. And so and they're calling it alternative. So it's just one of those things that I think metal's going to circle back around, and it's going to be a little different, but people are going to get sick of the incoherent screaming for a little while and go, hey, you know, I kind of want to hear what he's saying. And so, and like you talked about, you know, they'll blend styles with like rap and stuff like that. So it's one of those things that good music's good music, and it'll always break through. And so if somebody's there putting in the time, really working the songs, and not just trying to play to the formula and do the pop formula crap, then yeah, it'll be good no matter what, young, old, whatever. But a lot of bands because it's easy to, it's easy to sit there, play the game, play the formula and all that stuff and get popular. And especially these days, you get big on TikTok for, singing somebody's cover, and then people want to hand you a record contract and go here. So, they're not earning it. They're not putting in the time. They're not putting in the work, and you can hear it. So quality's quality. If it's there, it's there.
Have you seen any bands that have been putting in the work and actually been improving on their craft?
Like national wise or local wise? Local. Well, I will go back. Vivid and Vulgar again. I will champion them all day because I watch Aaron and them, and they really put in the work. Rivet Head always is putting in the work. Ghoultown, once again, always putting in the work. Newer bands.
Yeah, everybody that you're mentioning is in their late 30s or older.
No, and that's the problem. It's one of those things that it's a lot of the newer bands. It's one of those I don't see a lot of them doing it because I think a lot of times these days too is they just don't actually bother to how can I put it? They want the instant success, and so it's just easier to go into a clique because the young ones I have run into, it's been mostly death metal or metalcore. And don't get me wrong, I'll sit there and listen to some of it and go, it's cool, but at the same time, I won't go home and remember who they are because they sound like the other 5 bands that are there that night. So,
Electric Vengeance. I don't know how old that dude is, but
they're decent. Yeah, I have heard those guys.
Like when we used to do anyway, he's probably in his 30s now too.
Yeah, I mean, I run across them here and there, and that's the problem whenever you start getting real busy. It's like, it sucks because you want to go out to these shows and everything else, and this past year, it's just been kicking my ass. So it's one of those
but you're all right, Lou. You just make music for us and entertain us, and you'll get back around to being able to get out and catch some shows.
Yeah, I mean, one band we did play with, Lovesick Drug, that's a newer band that came out, Against All Odds. It has a band.
Oh, they're awesome. I love Against All Odds. They're awesome.
And they're a newer band, and I will say they are putting in the work. It's like, I saw them play at one of the kind of crappier shows on that Thursday. That's the reason we went out there, actually, was to catch them on that one show that was the shit show at Amplified. And I was impressed. So I asked them if they wanted to come and play with when we were playing at Haltom with Lovesick Drug. And they came in and they brought it on that one, too. So they're an up-and-comer, and yeah, they're kicking ass. So it's like, and the vocalist, she's amazing. She's dead on. They put on a good show. Ben's a solid drummer. So it's one of those things that, yeah, they're definitely one that we definitely want to play with again too. So it's like, they're definitely one that I think are going to go places here if they can keep it together, which is always the trick with bands. It's, it's hard keeping them together. Everybody's got an attitude and ego. So no matter what.
Do you think Deep Ellum can be saved?
Oh, no. Nah. Now, I mean, the whole thing that made Deep Ellum was the fact that back in the day, I guess only the cool people knew about it, I guess, for lack of a better term. It was one of those that, it was what it was because you could get in there cheap. It was just a bunch of abandoned warehouses. So these clubs went in there and was like, fuck it, and managed to grow it from there. But, the West End was the same way. West End was the same way when they opened it. It was a bunch of abandoned factories and stuff. So we just need to find another shithole and start a bunch of clubs.
Theater Gallery is a good example. All the clubs were kind of like this, but Theater Gallery especially, it's just a big empty building with some rooms upstairs that they office out of with a stage and a PA. And that's what built Deep Ellum.
Yeah. Yeah. All that type stuff. I mean, that's the whole thing about it is you find little pockets and there's little moments where everything's amazing and you take it when you can get it. But I mean, once again, really when I was just getting into the club era, like I said, I caught the back end of some of that with the Basement and Dallas City Limits and all that stuff. It was one of those that, it was spread out back then. And then Deep Ellum was kind of on the rise. Lower Greenville was kind of on the rise. But yeah, the city came and screwed all that up. So unless it just all goes to hell and the property values go down and stuff, I don't think anybody really wants to even open there. I mean, Green Room's closing down now. And even they're like, hey, it's just not practical to be here anymore.
Fuck.
So
We were just asking that question the other day. That sucks.
Yep.
What was the first local show that you went to?
First local show was at the original Bomb Factory. Back when it was just a warehouse. It wasn't this fancy place. It was just a shithole with a stage. Screw was headlining, the industrial band Screw, and Crucifix was one of the openers. And then there was another band, I can't remember the name, but I remember they didn't have a lead singer. And they were just playing, and we're all waiting because there was a mic on stage. So we're all like sitting there going, are they going to sing or what? And then like halfway through the set, the dude comes up and he's like, hey, by the way, we're looking for a singer. So I don't know how that went, but I remember Crucifix and I remember Screw. And that was the first show I went to in Deep Ellum and in general. Still like Screw. Still love Screw. Good band. They're out of Austin though, so.
And that's what convinced you to be a lifelong DFW metalite. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the one that hooked me was Ugly Mustard, because it was one of those that I came there, and the fact that every Ugly Mustard show, that was their big reputation, is every Ugly Mustard show was different. It's like you were afraid to miss them. They'd come out with different outfits, different stage performances, even different stage presence. Like Mike Dane on bass. One time, the first time I saw him, he was there in a cowboy outfit, stoic, not even moving. The next time he was like in a Kiss shirt, running around and like all over the stage. It was great. And the music was fun. I mean, it's still good. Some of the Ugly Mustard stuff still holds up. And so, yeah, it was just to sit there to go to an Ugly Mustard show. You're like, okay, this is going to be entertaining as hell. And so, yeah, it was one of those that that was the band that kept me coming. And then from there, I just kind of would catch other stuff that was, other bands that were playing down there and stuff. But they were definitely the ones that kept the Dallas part of me happy. So.
What was the last Dallas concert you went to?
Local wise, you mean?
Yes, sir.
That I wasn't playing. Man, let me think. It would have been a couple months ago. Was it? Yeah, it was a Spicoli's birthday party at Big Rob's. It was Novakin and Black Horse was headlining, and oh god, what was the other band? Another Chastity. It was those three bands. All good bands too. Chastity and Novakin both kick ass.
Are there any concerts coming up locally that you're looking forward to?
None that I can say right now, because I know a couple bands are going to be booking some stuff, but I'm not allowed to tell you yet. So there are some coming. Otherwise, it's more of a schedule thing for me. Like if I can get out, I get out. There's friends of mine, especially playing, or a band that I've been interested in, I'll go check it out. But yeah, like local band wise, I don't have anything just, I got to go check it out, because half the time I'm not even able to go out and do anything. So it's like these past few weekends have just been insane for me. This whole week, it's just, I mean, I literally was working on that song right before I got on with you guys. I had to run and get my laptop plugged in and everything over here to do this. And then tomorrow I got to go to Billy's and work on that. Then this weekend I got to shoot some special effects stuff for the movie stuff. And then we got to keep rehearsing the new bass player for Coilback and start working on all the stuff for the Lovesick Drug album release, and sell more of our hot sauce stuff and everything else. So
what is that? What hot sauce?
Yeah, where can we find that?
That's our love juice there. And yes, it's as dirty. We made it dirty on purpose. So you can actually get that from our Bandcamp site if you want to get online. We bring it to shows, obviously, but the Lovesick Drug Bandcamp, you can buy the tracks there. You can buy the love juice. You can see my girlfriend's cleavage, because that's who's the model on there.
What kind of sauce is that, brother? Is that like a cayenne pepper based sauce?
It's cayenne habanero.
Oh my! We've
gotten a lot of good reviews on it. A friend of mine that has a hot sauce company made it for us. He let us try it, and we didn't even have to adjust it. The first one he sent us, we're like, dude, that is perfect. That's what we want to use. And we've got a lot of people that don't even give two craps about the band that want the hot sauce.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because I'm thinking that is what we want to use. I need to try that hot sauce on our show.
There you go. It's not super hot. It's actually really tasty. It's not super hot. Like it's got a little kick at the back end, but just enough. It's still got a lot of flavor to it. And my friend Lyle, have you tried Lyle's sauce, the monster sauce that Lyle puts out?
There you go. We're gonna have to compare those sauces.
They're both good. They're a different thing. Now, Lyle just put out an habanero sauce, but he's got 2 other flavors that he's got. He's got a jalapeno and a regular red one. I think it's just cayenne, and they're all good in their own way. But the love juice is kind of their own thing. That's what you need. You need a local hot sauce, because I think Aaron from Vivid and Vulgar has like a seasoning blend. So what you need is just a food themed show, and just have all the different bands' foods there, and then you could just do it that way. And hell, I think. Within Chaos.
How about a local band
cooking with chaos
cooking show?
Within Chaos, I'm trying to remember the guy's name now. That
Wolf. Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf. Yeah, Wolf does the cooking thing. So have Wolf come and cook for you with all this stuff.
Fucking A.
I made a show for you. There you go.
Yeah, have some hot sauce called Wolf Cum.
Y'all can try that first, and then let me know how that goes.
You know what? I'm a firm believer in sloppy seconds. So
hey, there's no shame in that. It's okay.
Dave's been there a couple of times.
Yeah, haven't we all?
Hey Lou, I gotta ask before I head up. How do you want people to remember Lou Morris?
Part of me just wants to say, just remember I said everybody kiss my ass. No, I would say. I just want them to pay attention to the music. It's one of those things that it's like that. I'm sure there'll be plenty of words said about me here and there. As I mean, they're doing it now. Why wouldn't they do it later? So it's one of those that good and bad. But ultimately, I just want people to take a look at the work, look at the movies I worked on, look at the music I worked on, pay attention to the lyrics, pay attention to all that stuff. I mean, everything I wrote, especially the songs I write and stuff, I write them with purpose. So they're all saying something. Sometimes it takes a little bit more to see, but they're all saying something. So, I put the work in, so I made it for everybody to enjoy. So it's like, that's all I give a shit about. Like past that, it's whatever.
Well, it definitely passed the music test with me. The coil back did. I like the Love Sick Drug too, but I'm talking about the coil back because I've been listening to it on the job the last 3 days.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, man. I mean, I love doing coil back. It's, it's one of those.
Well, I appreciate you more. That's what I'm saying. I appreciate you more. Thanks for making the music.
Oh, well, I appreciate you listening to it. I mean, that's all I can ask.
Now I'm going to get to dig into it, and I'll read those lyrics.
There you go. Yeah. I try to put them up when I can. Whenever we do, we're going to work on it. The goal is to get another full album completed, because we did that EP, and that's kind of been our formula over the years is hurry up, get an EP out, and then we tend to go back and re-record the ones that were on the EP, because we always tend to end up figuring out a way to play them better. And so the EP's got 5 originals and then 2 re-recordings of some older songs. So we'll probably take the 5 originals, re-record them, put them on an album with 5 or 6 more originals, and put out a full album. So that's the goal. So we'll see if we get there.
Is there a particular song that you would like to be remembered for? Like, is there a song that you hold higher than all the others?
Oh man, it kind of depends on the day. Man, coilback wise, I would say lyrically, probably Twisted Vision. But if you ask me a different day, I'd probably tell you a different answer. Twisted Vision is more about somebody that's kind of like skewed in the way they look at stuff. And it's kind of like, you're kind of full of yourself and everything else, but everybody else knows you're full of crap, which has been recently kind of, applicable to some people that I've met in certain bands that I won't mention right this second. And so it's one of those things that Love Sick Drug, I actually write most of the lyrics on Love Sick Drug too. And man, that one's a tough one, because I don't always write those personally. I write those more as just kind of what fits the tune. So it's like you'd have to let me come back on that one. But Coilback, I'd say Twisted Vision for the time being. Stalemate maybe, but definitely Twisted Vision.
Like, do you write to the music, or do you write the lyrics first and then the music comes after?
I would say the majority is music first, just because it's easier, to be honest. But that doesn't mean I'm not writing to a certain purpose. Like if I have a song in mind that I'm like, I want to write a song about this, I might cater the music to that and then try to hone in the lyrics to match what I wrote. but it tends to be a lot easier to write the music first and then come back with the lyrics. Not saying I haven't written around lyrics before, but it's kind of a pain in the ass because you're trying to force a cadence. So it's kind of one of those. It's like I tend to prefer to write the music first. Coilback.
Well, do you get like some words stuck in your head where you're singing a song and then write the music based on the melody that gets stuck in your head?
I have done that. Love is Dead came about that. Like the song Love is Dead. I had that phrase stuck in my head. It was actually kind of funny. Like on the album itself, on the album cover, on the back, there's a tombstone that says love on it. It was a family tombstone in McKinney. And that's what made me think of the phrase. I was like, oh my God, love is dead. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool, line. And I wrote a song around that concept and that line. And I knew, that line would be in there, but I didn't really have anything specific phrasing wise going, oh, I want this one phrase. We had a ex-member that used to do that. She'd be in love with a certain phrase or word and she'd shoehorn it in the song, whether it fit or not. And I don't really go for that. So there's certain ones.
How I create melodies.
Yeah. No, I kind of do it that way. Like you'll have certain ones where it's like a certain line will just pop into your head as soon as you get it. Yeah, I get that. And then you're using that for the cadence.
That way it's catchy.
Yeah, no, totally.
You're writing something that people can relate to if it's something that you're already thinking about and it gets caught in your head and you have the words and everything kind of cut in your head already.
Mm-hmm. No, I've definitely run into that. It doesn't happen as much. I tend to be very idealistic in my writing in the sense that I'll have a concept, but I do get what you're saying. And I've had that happen where I've had a certain phrase or some things in my head just spinning around going, oh, I need to get that in there somewhere. So I have done it. So I totally get where you're going with that.
Yeah. Not the same thing as forcing it.
No. Yeah. It's like, ooh, this will slip right in there perfectly. But yeah, I've worked with songwriters that are just so in love with their words. Do what?
Consensually.
Yeah. It's important to hear it's okay to put that in there. So.
Yeah, you don't want to just lock somebody in a room and start jerking off in front of them like Louis C.K.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, people are okay with that.
Hey, Louis C.K.'s on the comeback. He's been on JRE recently.
I think comeback and Louis C.K. is not a good phrasing right now, but yeah, I get where you're coming from.
No, it's actually the perfect phrasing. Comeback.
That's what he should do. He should, once again, just don't apologize. Just go out there, the Louis C.K. comeback tour, and just spell it C-U-M and just freaking come out there and do it.
He's not apologizing.
So do that, say screw it. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to do something, do it unapologetically. And then,
I don't think they even talked about it. They just talked like shit was normal.
Yeah, just avoid the elephant in the room.
It was it's a great interview. If you have time to go watch it and you're into his comedy.
I'll have to see. I've watched a few of his things. I didn't go out of my way to look at him, but if I saw him on, I'd listen to what he was saying. So, I mean, he was okay. He wasn't bad.
There's something There's something about ginger stand-up comedians that are just fucking brilliant.
Yeah, Carrot Top back in the day used to be, and then he just kind of kept milking that same thing. He's kind of freaky.
I meant more like Conan O'Brien, Bill Burr, Louis C.K.
I love Bill Burr. Bill Burr's great. Bill Burr's hilarious. Conan, I watched Conan back in the day, but Bill Burr's, dude, he's hilarious.
Is there anything you wish that you could say on stage that you just can't anymore?
There's really not a lot holding me back from saying certain things, so probably not. There's probably a bunch of stuff people wish I didn't say on stage. I tend to call out people. I've kind of got a reputation. I'm not really afraid to say stuff, and I think that's why I do get hated by some people, but I'm okay with that. Those are the people I don't really give two shits about anyway. No, I mean, it's one of those things that if I feel like saying it, I tend to just say it. That's kind of how I am.
Nice. Well, come on here and blow your brains out with us, Lou Morris, and say it anytime
we need more people like you, Lou Morris. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, man. If you ever have anything to share with us, you got shows coming up at Lovesick Drug or Coilback, be sure and let us know.
Well, I'll give you all the plugs real quick. How about this? Coilback, be on soon. Check us out at coilback.com. Lovesick Drug, lovesickdrug.com. We have a new song coming out. We have an album coming out. Be on that. Movie-wise, Dr. Giff will come out this year. Chick Chick Boom will probably come out next year. It's another horror with some clowns. I'm actually one of the lead clown guys on that one and acting and doing all the special effects. And then a new movie coming out called The Talent Process is an action movie that I'm actually acting in and do some stunts. And I actually have a big fight scene towards the end of that one. So that should be coming out pretty soon too. And you can see Strix right now on Tubi and Plex. So there's all the crap right there.
Lou Morris, I can't thank you enough for being here with us on this Wednesday evening in February. Man, the pleasure has been all ours. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the bottom of Ricky's heart.
Appreciate it, man.
See you next time, bro.